What's up, everybody? Welcome to Thanksgiving week. I can't believe we've made it this far already, Vinny. This is when I start to get excited about, we get over Breeders' Cup and you have a little bit of lull in doing content. And then this Saturday, the Future Stars of Tomorrow at Churchill Downs is that's kind of the first one of the fall after Breeders' Cup that I really circle as, you're going to see a whole slew of high quality 2-year-olds and including the Kentucky Jockey Club. So, first of all, happy Thanksgiving to you. How's everything going with you?
Good, man. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Yeah, this is kind of the time of the year where everybody starts getting back into it. You get a couple of weeks after Breeders' Cup, and then it's like, oh, prep season. Let's get our derby hats on. So it's definitely an exciting time here.
It comes fast and furious. Like you go through this Saturday, and suddenly you got horses to track out of this weekend, and then next thing you know, it's right into some of those December preps. Your favorite, the Springboard Mile, I know is circled on your
Yeah.
calendar. And then
So
right
yeah,
into the new year, and then next thing you know, we'll be talking about the Lecomte and Fairgrounds, and we're off and racing to the 2025 Kentucky Derby. This is doubling down. We're doing a little bit different this week. We decided, hey, let's just do it live. For those of you watching over on Trust the Profits YouTube, say hello in the chat. If you're watching on X, you can also say hello in the chat and let us know who you like. Doubling Down is a show that we do where we put together daily double tickets. And so for Saturday, November 30th at Churchill Downs, we started off with race number 10, the Fern Creek Stakes for filly 2-year-olds. A nice strong field of 11 over at Churchill Downs. I thought there was a couple that stood out here, Vinny, but the first thing that stood out to me was how much, and you have to take this with a grain of salt because the horses haven't raced a ton, but there's a lot of horses that are going to want to be on the front end in this race compared to at least the next leg, which I think is kind of the opposite. And that was something that I certainly had to take into consideration in my handicapping. The Fern Creek Stakes has a number one here, Echo Sound, trained by George Arnold, who's absolutely been on fire with the 2-year-olds, especially running in Kentucky. One of those ones that I think might actually be able to sit off the pace. I had the 1, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, and 10 as all horses that kind of have shown the willingness to be on the front end. They can't all be there. Did you take that into consideration?
yeah. There's definitely a lot of speed. So like, this is where kind of just looking at who they raced, what horses they've raced against, how those horses have come back. And like you said, I think Echo Sound is one of those horses that can definitely be forwardly placed, but has already shown to be able to run well, not necessarily getting the lead. Now the rail draw, I'm going to guess they send from the rail. Maybe not over aggressively, but I would be surprised if this horse isn't second or third at least on first call. I think they're going to try to keep the rail position with this one. Um, this is the horse to beat, right? Just looking at it, I feel like this is most likely your favorite here. 3 for 3 has a stakes win. Like, kind of seems like this is your horse, right?
Yeah, I would agree with you. And I checked out. I know we're doing this without morning line odds, but RaceLens will give you what they see as the fundamental odds. It's kind of their calculations of what they have, and they have Echo Sound as the favorite, 7-2, with
I'd be
Impulse
fine with that.
by 9-2. Yeah, I think it'll be shorter than that probably as I went through
Mm,
it. This is
yeah,
computer, and you can't necessarily go off that. It's just to give you a sense of where you might
yeah,
think it might be
that
because
makes
you're not
sense
going to
though.
have these horses down here at 99-1. I don't think those two. It's not that.
Yeah, I
They're not
mean,
that bad.
as long as this horse, I was thinking about my ticket I gave you, and I all of a sudden I was sitting here before I went on looking at it. I'm like, oh no, I hope this horse isn't 7 to 5 by post time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think this is very much the horse to beat here.
Yeah, I mean the speed figures. It's circled green here for you. 92, highest in the race. That was a race with Irad aboard. Now you get Louis Saez aboard. This horse has won over the Churchill Downs track, as you mentioned, is 3 for 3. The one thing that I would say, Vinny, is that I kind of noticed. I went through and watched back the last couple, the first race and the third race here. This being the last race by Echo Sound, and in the stretch. Um, I thought that there was just enough a little bit of lugging in here. She's the 3 here. You can see right there, lugs in really quick to the left. They straighten her out, and then she's going to do that again.
Yep.
Um, right here. And then in the first race coming down the stretch, the horse was on the wrong lead. So these are
Yep.
2-year-olds, right? And you have to keep that in mind. These numbers pop up, and sometimes it's a reason I'm going to play against Jonathan's Way in the next, actually, as we get further on in this double. But you have to keep in mind that these are lightly raced horses, and there can be drastic swings in their performances. And something like that may be the reason that you play against Echo Sound. It's actually the reason I added a few more onto my ticket here.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, they're 2-year-olds. Anything can happen with these 2-year-olds. So it's definitely tough. That's what makes 2-year-old racing so fun, though, is that anything really can happen. I just thought I this one's on my ticket. I think she's pretty good, and she has a win with Sayas already. So, and like you said before, she's shown the ability to be able to rate already, which I think is key with 2-year-olds. I feel like a lot of times, like as like the public, we get like you get caught up in the ones that, oh, they go 22-44, they draw away and they win by they win by 6, but they never had any pressure. First race they get pressure, and all of a sudden they're a different horse. It's like, okay, well, this horse is already she's already done it twice where she's run behind horses and then passed them in the stretch. Granted, didn't look fantastic doing so, but at least I know she can do it. So that was the other reason why I thought this one deserved the spot on my ticket.
Shout out to Rogue Wolf Carson, who mentioned pay attention to George Arnold with 2-year-olds running in Kentucky. So RaceLens, I pulled the stats. Here you go. 48
Hmm.
starts over the last year, 19% win percentage, a success score of 7.6. Whenever it's over 7, I recommend you pay attention and look at that ROI, plus 79%.
Yeah.
Digging into the details there, you can look at the prices. Obviously inflated by this 25-1, but also had a 14-1, 8-1, 5-1, 7-1. He gets these 2-year-olds ready, and he gets them to run pretty well in Kentucky.
Yeah, and he's never one that overplaces his horses, in my opinion. So I know this one ran in the stakes last time, and this is back in stakes company here, but like I feel like he's one of those guys that he's not like Asmussen, who will just enter horses in stakes races because he has 1,000 horses in his barn. I feel like if Arnold's running them in a stakes race, most of the time, like he's running them because they fit that field. So it makes sense that his percentage is so high.
Like I said, I didn't single Echo Sound because I thought you could go in a couple other places here. You did as well. Where did you where were you interested?
Yeah, I just going from the rail out. The next horse that I was interested in is the 4. She's so sophisticated for D'Angelo with Paco. Horse only has one start, but the number came back pretty strong. And the fact that he's sending this horse to Churchill rather than just keeping this horse at Gulfstream kind of caught my eye. I feel like this is one of those this could be one of those horses that could have stayed at Gulfstream and probably done pretty well. But the fact that he's shipping them, maybe they think they have a little more here than just a horse that's going to clean up and uh sprinting in Florida. So again, her number came back pretty strong, I thought here, all things considering. So I figured I'd give her another shot here, especially like you said, I don't think she'll be the favorite. So I thought that some value here. But yeah,
Yeah,
I mean she beat that field pretty bad.
well, I was gonna say, look at the speed figure here on the right. She got a 90. The next horse got a 54.
Right. Well, that's what
Um,
I mean. I felt like yes, that's probably high and maybe it's not right, but as not the favorite going out in the next start, if that number's right and she improves, like that definitely makes her if she runs another 90 here, like that's dangerous against this field. Like, your winner what might run a 93 here. So if she runs 90, if she improves off a 90, she definitely fits.
yeah, one winner came back to win. That was Blonde Jack. Ran in a
Yeah.
race with a class rating a lot lower than obviously what
Yeah.
running in this race.
Yep.
Uh, We both agreed on another horse who I thought was very dangerous in here. That is the number 9, Impulse Bay, trained by Brissett with Tyler Gaffalione aboard. What drew you to the 9, Impulse Bay?
Windstar Homebred, and the fact that the horse has run well and has had some trouble. And
Mhm.
another one that, like, yes, she hasn't won rating yet. Her one win was going gate to wire, but she like didn't run badly running next to running behind horses. Both of her races, the horses that won were gate to wire winners. And I don't think we're going to get a gate to wire winner here. But the fact that she stayed on in both of those races is, in my opinion, encouraging. She didn't just give up. Where I feel like, sometimes that's like you can kind of tell like class levels of horses when they just give up chasing lone speed. I felt like both times here, like the speed horse wins, and she's just second best that day. And like, I don't think she ran poorly.
Yeah,
So
she's the number 9 here, and you can see out of the gate in her last start. This is November 2nd, right here on the left.
yep,
Took pretty bad stumble right there, and still is able to get up to the
yeah.
front of the field in this race
And
here.
if I remember correctly, I believe this one just goes gate the wire on her, and like she doesn't run, she doesn't run bad, and she doesn't really give up. Like the stumble hurt, so yeah, she's gonna have to get out of the gate better today. But if there's any sort of like, if as long as there's any sort of pressure up front, and your leader in this race isn't running free like that, I think she's good enough and she can pass horses in the stretch. I don't think her coming in second in 2 over 3 starts is too discouraging considering how she did it.
Yes.
And I know that's an angle that we've talked about before. These horses that either press lone speed or they chase lone speed all the way around the track and then playing them back next time out. Because it's like, well, if that horse wasn't there, the horse ran good enough to win. And that's how I felt her races were in the first race and the third race, where she just didn't get the right trip. And even like you pulled up that last race there. I mean, the Queen's MG is a multiple stakes winner.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to point out. This horse started off the career 3 for 4, including those 2 wins up at Saratoga and the Schuylerville and the Adirondack, winning by 9 lengths in the Adirondack. So when I saw Queen's MG on the PPs in that race, that's kind of what immediately drew my attention to this horse. Sired by Speightstown, you can see here positive ROI 40%, going route to sprints on the dirt, and also a $200,000 Keeneland September sale horse. So it just made me think that there's definitely some talent here with this number 9, Impulse Bay. So I'm gonna go just get by here with the 1 and the 9, and Vinny's gonna sneak by with the 149 here on leg 1. Vinny, we move on to the race for Kentucky Derby points. That is the Kentucky Jockey Club, won by Honor Marie last year. They're going a mile in the 16th. Winner gets 10 points, 5 points to second, 3, 2, 1 for the places after that. And as I mentioned in that first leg, I saw a ton of early speed. I got to this one and I was going, where is the early speed? I found the 6, who I actually ended up really liking. And part of the reason I picked this race is because I know you've talked about Jonathan's Way quite a bit on the shows that we've had. It seems like the last couple of shows we've had, he's come up every conversation, including you saying this is the Derby horse. So I said,
Yeah.
I know I got to get you back for this one. But I think this Wesley Ward horse, Clock Tower, who's going turf to dirt, is actually pretty dangerous on the front end. And I'm hoping that the turf angle there maybe might scare some people away. I did some stats digging on RaceLens this morning as I was preparing for our show. Not this time as a sire. Horse is going turf to dirt. Hits at 26% with a positive ROI of 35 over the last 5 years. So it wasn't a small sample. Then I dug into Ward going turf to dirt, first off of a layoff, 34% with a basically even ROI over the last 3 years. However, when you cut that down to 2-year-olds, he's 6 for 10 with a positive ROI of 108. So those certainly got my attention, and I liked the fact that this horse actually started out on the dirt, and I didn't see a big drastic number change in the numbers from what he was running on the dirt compared to what he's been running on, or she's been running he has been running on the turf. You know, sometimes you'll be like, you see this huge number on the turf in the last race, and the horse started on the dirt, and it's like a 60. Well, you know, it's easy to then lead to think that the horse prefers the turf over the dirt. However, the numbers to me here are just consistent increasing speed figures. Have a drink, as a maturing 2-year-old. And so Clock Tower to me was one that's extremely dangerous, of just getting out on the front end. And, you know, it's 2 turns, mile and 16, so could be detrimental. But I didn't see anybody else that was going to push this horse really early. And I'm going to use Clock Tower for Wesley Ward on my ticket. Where did you go?
I'm using Jonathan's Way as one of the 2 horses on mine.
Of course
I'm
you
giving
are.
him, yeah, I'm gonna give him a pet. You know, and maybe he's not good enough. I don't think this field is fantastic though. I'm not. Hey Keith. Um, I uh, I don't think this field is fantastic, so I'm willing to give him a break. I thought he was sitting perfect in that juvenile, and he just came up empty like most of that field. That field just basically came up empty. That was a very, I think you were the one on Citizen Bowl. You were right on the nose there. But like that was a very weirdly run race. Like they like that for after the half, it was like, oh, like the third horses, like I think he was sitting good. Who was the other one? There was a couple in there that like took money and like looked like they were sitting very good uh in this race. Yeah, Ferocious was sitting good. East Ave, I mean, the race changed when East Ave missed the break,
Missed the
but
break,
even
yeah,
East Ave,
completely.
like, yeah, but even East Ave, like, got his way back, like, into it a little bit. It was just a weirdly run race, in my opinion, where it was, like nobody. It was one of the few races all weekend I felt like, yes, like the track was playing fair, but like this race, nobody wanted to pass anybody. It was like, like some horses pass tired horses late, but you look at the run lines at the when
Yeah,
Citizen
you're right.
Bull sat in first the whole time, Gaming sat in second
Second.
the whole time. Like yes, Hill Road made up some ground late, but like Getaway Car was basically in third the whole time. It was just a strangely run race. So I'm willing to draw a line through it. Now, yes, I'm going to eat the short price here because I'm sure he's just going to be bet based off of his first 2 efforts. But those first 2 efforts are definitely good enough to win here. I think this horse is going to be fine going 2 turns. I thought that going into the Breeders' Cup, but I also like that they're not really giving him a break. Like they're running him once a month, so I think like this horse is probably ready. And if he wins here, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a little bit of a break, and then we don't see him until like the late February, early March preps. But I think it's a good sign that he stayed in training after the Breeders' Cup, where a lot of those other horses are probably, like you said, you probably won't see them until the end of midway through February. So I'm gonna take it as a good sign. It could be a bad one, but I feel like his first 2 races impressed me too much not to use him.
I love fading horses out of the Breeders' Cup, especially horses like this.
Yeah,
Like, it's just the angle you're supposed to play is the horses that win the Breeders' Cup and come back are an immediate fade for me. I mean,
right.
there's some that'll run a huge race, but the public gets attracted to them, and it's the perfect spot to beat them. Now, the one thing that's worries me about Jonathan's Way is I don't know that Breeders' Cup took a huge effort out of him. You know, like you said, it was a weirdly run race, and he kind of, he didn't make any headway. It's not like he put an all-out effort in, and now you're concerned. And that workout coming back, as you just mentioned, I mean, look at November 16th, was 1 out of
Yeah,
76, goes 58 and 4,
yeah.
going 5 furlongs, and then did a 4 furlong workout on November 23rd. So in training and impressive. So, I know what I'm doing here. I'm taking a shot against a really, really good
You're gonna
horse.
get paid, and if you're
Uh,
you get paid if you're right here. Like it's not like you're crazy. Like I said, and like that angle fading horses out of the Breeders' Cup. We've talked about that all the time, and like yeah, like that's something I usually do too. I'm just like it's been a month, and he's still in training, that was kind of where I was at. But yeah, like I mean, this is one of those that if I'm wrong on him, it's just like, well, I should have listened to the angle I've been telling myself for the last 15 years. Like, don't play horses out of the Breeders' Cup. Try to beat them. So yeah,
Because you also wonder about the campaign. I mean, this horse has been started training since July, and there hasn't really been a break at all. So maybe
right.
maybe that's why he didn't make headway in the Breeders' Cup, and
Yeah, it very,
the
very
concern,
well could be. Like I said, if he wins here, I would be shocked if he runs in any of like the 10-point preps. I think his next stop would be a 50-point prep if he wins here. I don't think they'll bring him back too early, but you never know. Again, these aren't like connections. I feel like that you're used to seeing on the Derby Trail. So yeah, maybe they're just gonna do. They could do some weird. They might do some weird stuff that's out of pocket, and just keep him in training the whole time. You never know. Maybe he ends up being one of those horses that has 12 starts going into the Derby.
it's possible. He's got 10 points on the trail there already. Before
Yep.
we jump to the horse that we agree on, I'm going to ask you about He's Not Joking. This horse, first time through, I passed on and didn't, I just kept going. I didn't stop. And then I went back and looked again. And I'm not going to lie. I texted our good friend Sean, who's the Woodbine King. And I said, hey, Sean, check out this horse on Saturday. He's Not Joking with Josie Carroll. I tried to dig up some stats on Josie Carroll as far as running horses, 2-year-olds on the dirt, not the synthetic dirt that they have up at Woodbine, but the dirt. And I couldn't find any. And so that piqued my interest. And I said, well, Sean, and he agreed. He said, just got to think this horse has talent to make this move down to Churchill, similar to what you just said about the horse going up from Gulfstream to run in the last.
Mhm.
This was a little bit of a me trying to guess if the trainer knows she has something here, which I'm not always my strength in trying to follow what the trainers are doing because there's so many of them moving so many horses all so many places. But then you see the jockey here, and that also grabbed my attention. The horse is sired by Practical Joke, so obviously Practical Move was a horse that had some success over the dirt. I think that He's Not Joking is a horse that could also be a little bit more forwardly placed, like this horse was in the second start, even the last start, winning the Gray Stakes, Grade 3 winner now. Won that race going away at 10.5 to 1. He's Not Joking. Maybe one of those horses that doesn't get beaten, is up forwardly placed and is able to close in here. So I am going to use the number one. He's Not Joking. Any thought for you, or you went right by?
I like so what actually piqued my interest on this one a little bit was the dam Collegeville girl. I remember this dam running, and she was fast. She was fast, and that was kind of that was then that immediately I pulled up her PPs and I was like, yep, she was a sprinter. And that's
Yep.
kind of like her pedigree isn't terrible though, so it wouldn't surprise me if this one could definitely could stretch out. But this one was just she was a sprinter at the end of the day. I do remember her. I believe one of her races, she either won at a big price or she came in second at a. Oh yeah, no, it was her last race there. Yeah, she won at like 20. Yeah, she won at like 20 something to one. Um, I just remember her being. I remember her being a good sprinter. That was kind of where I was like, I don't know. I don't know if this horse really wants to go 2 turns. I don't know enough about Josie Carroll to that's the reason I didn't use it. Um, I did find it weird that Flo took them out. I mean, that's probably a good sign.
Yeah.
Just just wasn't for me. I thought this was one of those ones that might have distance limitations against stronger company. I could be very wrong, but yeah, I wouldn't fault you on using this one. I watched. I thought this replay was very encouraging. So yeah, I went
Yeah.
3 deep in the first leg, so it was like I couldn't use, and then knowing Jonathan's way is probably going to be a top betting choice, maybe second choice. I felt like I couldn't go 3 by 3 here.
The one thing I just really noticed was look at this. It's the white with the blue cap here. This move
Hmm.
here on this turn. I mean, this is a mile and 16th race. This was impressive.
Yep, it
So
was. It was impressive, and my issue is that it's Woodbine. And like I
yep.
know they've had some very good horses lately. I know some good horses have come from there. it's just one of those ones that I just wasn't sure. And like, yes, it was a grade. She did win a grade 3 there. Yeah, she could bite me. She definitely could bite me. I'm just hoping she's not. I'm hoping she's just a cut below. But it'd be a cool story if a course from Woodbine ends up on the Derby Trail. That would be great.
Would love it. Let's wrap up with the horse that we both agree with here in the Kentucky Jockey Club. That's number 9, Render Judgment. This is a horse that'll come from off the pace. Kenny McPeak trained with Brian Hernandez aboard. Horse has a win at Churchill Downs, going a mile and a 16th. That was the last time out. I thought that this was a pro effort. The horse was down on the inside, and Brian brought this horse to the outside, and then this horse blew past the competitors in the stretch there. Concerned a little bit about the trip. How wide is he going to be in that first turn? He definitely appreciated that extra distance compared to the 7 furlong start at Keeneland. Sire by Blame, Render Judgment. You liked him as well?
Yeah, I thought the same thing. I like the horse stretched out well from 7 to a mile and a 16th. I just thought this horse just looked like one that like logically could progress. And again, I thought this field had a lot of horses in it that I'm not sure really want a mile and a 16th. And the distance does not worry me for this one. So that was kind of my reasoning for using this as a second horse here. Like you said, I thought this effort was very professional.
Yeah, look,
And
he's taking some. He's the 5 on the inside there with the red hat. Was taking some bumping there.
Yep.
Tries to go through this here. Realizes that he's got to kick him to the outside, which he does there.
Yep.
And then grinds him down.
Yeah, and once he starts going straight, like he looks very good. Oh, yeah, I had no complaints there, and the horse just looks good. Good, and I think there is going to be a nice pace in here, which is again a reason I kind of gravitated towards 2 horses that have shown the ability to rate in the past. So I do think there's going to be a little bit of a pace in here. But yeah, I agreed, and I think the one horse that I debated on using and I didn't was First Resort. That was kind of
I
my
thought you were
last
gonna
horse
say.
off.
Thought you were gonna say Tistastic.
No, no, First Resort was the first horse off my ticket.
You love those Godolphin horses.
I do. I really do like the Godolphin horses. I think we will see this one on the turf again eventually. I think that's kind of where I'm at on this one, is that I think this is a turf horse, but they're seeing what they have here. But I would not be surprised if we see this one in some stakes races down the road on the turf, because I think this one has some talent. And even like you look at that like the summer that she came out of last time, like that race had some pretty good horses in it. I
Yeah.
know New Country didn't come back to run great, but
El
what?
Kudra.
Yeah, yeah, like you had a couple horses that ended up starting in the Curious started in the Breeders' Cup that next time out.
Mhm.
So like that was a pretty good field. So I this was just an interesting horse. I thought the dam was a stakes winning dam as well. So I just thought this one made a little sense, but again, I was just the last horse off my ticket. I'm not sure about the distance.
That will give you our ticket for the daily double for Saturday, race 10 and 11. I'm going to go 1-9 with the 1-6-9. It costs you $6. Vinny will go 1-4-9 with the 2-9. As we always say, pay attention to those probables. We did this without morning lines, so that may make you want to adjust, not just betting it straight across. You might want to hammer a little bit more. If it ends up being Echo Sound and Jonathan's Way is only paying $4, then maybe you put $3 or $4 on that double straight up, and then play the rest of this ticket for the dollar. That's how I approach it.
Yeah, same here. I think that's what you have to do. Like obviously, like if you look at the probables, then there's a there's a scenario where you're not making money. Do not play it. Like that just yeah, like Yeah, if the 1-2 double is like $3, don't play the $6 ticket because we won't either. If that's the case, like
Yeah,
we
or
did
you
it
hammer
without.
that.
Right, or you hammer it. Like, it's fine to hammer it, but, like, don't like, if you're gonna play that, though, then you hammer, like, the 1-2, and then you maybe play a smaller version of, like, using the other numbers without that, knowing you have that hammered, because, yeah, you if if you're only gonna make $3, but you're playing a $6 ticket, it doesn't matter how much you hammer that, you're still gonna lose money at the end of the day.
Yeah. All right, what's the Vinny Blonde Thanksgiving special meal? What's his favorite dish?
Ooh, I like the sweet potatoes with the little marshmallows on top, melted in.
Okay.
Yep, yep. I'm a child. I'm a child. That's one of my that and
That's
stuffing.
the perfect Vinny answer.
That stuffing and cornbread. I'll make myself like a little mini sandwich with some cornbread and put that on it, and I'm fine.
I love it. I'm a
Yeah,
stuffing man. That's my favorite. I'll start and end with the stuffing. So you gotta have a
that
good
the
stuffing to have a
sides.
good meal.
Yeah, the sides are the best part. I'm not like turkey's eh. I can do without it. I can live on the sides though. Watch some football. I mean, unfortunately, we get the nice little 4:30 nap with the Giants Cowboys this year, but the other game should be should be good.
Very good. Well, Vinny, you have a good Thanksgiving. Thanks for doing this live with us. Thank you to everyone that's out there watching. You can find this video right here on Trust the Profits for the rest of the week. So happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Best of luck. Throw in the comments what your daily double is for Saturday. And if there's any other 2-year-olds across the field that you like, I got to give a shout out to Kevin Kilroy at Fairgrounds, who gave me a heads up that on Thanksgiving, Logan's half brother, Blame It on Bourbon, is running in race 6.
Oh
So
wow!
shout out. Where's my Loggins hat? Right here, baby. We'll finish the show with Loggins, and
Oh,
hopefully Loggins' half brother can make up for what Loggins wasn't able to do on the track.
also, race 1 on Saturday at Churchill. Idiomatic's what is it? Her half sister is debuting in race 1. Chaston is in race 1 on Saturday at Churchill.
Yes,
So
number 2 there for
yeah,
Brad
so
Cox.
yeah, and I retweeted somebody who posted that earlier. So just another one.
There you go. That's why this time's fun. You start finding those connections to the other horses you've liked over the last few years, right?
Yep.
Very good. All right, Vinny. Thank you so much. Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Take care.